Romantic English Academy.
Where love meets language.
Amelia, I need help. I was at the market this morning and a very kind woman started talking to me. She asked me 3 normal questions and I answered all of them, but I think I gave the worst answers in the history of English conversation.
Oh, Ryan, that is a very dramatic opening. What did she ask?
First, she said, "How are you?" I said, "I am fine, thank you. And you?" Then she asked what I do, and I said, "I do photographs." Then she asked where I am from, and I just said, "America."
Oh, Ryan, you didn't freeze. That's the strange part. You just became very small. You gave closed answers. You shut the conversation down without meaning to.
Exactly. I sounded like I was reading from an old language textbook. I know I can do better than that. And I thought if I can freeze like that, our listeners probably can too.
That is a very good instinct. This is exactly the kind of thing we should talk about today. But before we build the episode, let me point out one useful language mistake you made. You said, "I do photographs."
Yeah, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? I don't know why I said it. I'm a photographer. I work as a photographer. Those are the natural answers.
Right. The question, "What do you do?" uses do, but the answer usually doesn't. You don't say, "I do teacher" or "I do doctor." You say, "I'm a teacher" or "I work as a doctor."
That is such a common trap. The question invites do, and then your brain wants to use do again. But in natural English, we usually answer with I'm plus the job or I work as plus the job.
Good. And that small correction is part of today's goal. We don't want learners to just memorize 10 answers. We want them to understand how common questions work so they can build their own answers.
So, let's start properly. Welcome to Romantic English Academy, everyone. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Amelia. Last time, in episode 57, we talked about 5 easy morning habits for A1 and A2 learners. Ryan, you spent the whole morning naming things in the bedroom.
I did. My 5 quiet words. This morning I said pillow, blanket, lamp, window, and then I forgot the word curtain again. Amelia, I promise I am not doing this on purpose.
You learned that word last episode. It's okay, it will come. But today we are moving up to a B1-B2 level, and we're going to answer a question that many listeners sent after episode 57.
Yes, several people wrote something like this. I can do my morning habits, but when someone actually asks me a question in English, my mind goes blank. And that is a real problem.
It is. So today's episode is called The Most Common English Questions and Perfect Answers. We will show you how to understand the question, choose a natural answer, and then keep the conversation moving.
But I want to be careful. We are not going to give you one perfect answer for each question. That would be a script. Real conversations don't work like that.
Right. A perfect answer is not a sentence you memorize and repeat forever. A perfect answer sounds like you. It fits the moment, and it invites the other person to say something back.
To make this easier, I've been thinking about a ladder, not a real ladder, a conversation ladder. Common questions usually move from safe to personal, step by step.
A conversation ladder, that's actually a useful image. Walk me through it.
The first rung is warm-up questions. They don't ask for much information. They're social glue. How are you is the classic one.
The second rung is identity questions, like what do you do and where are you from? These help people place you in the world.
The third rung is interest questions, like what do you like to do in your free time or have you ever? They try to find common ground.
Then the fourth rung is connection questions. These go a little deeper. They ask about your recent past, your plans, or your learning journey. Things like, what did you do last weekend? Or how long have you been learning English?
And the fifth rung is repair questions. Those are not questions people ask you. They are questions you ask when something breaks down, like, sorry, could you repeat that? Or, what does that word mean?
That is a very complete frame. If you can handle all 5 rungs, you can survive almost any first conversation in English, and maybe even enjoy it.
Survive and enjoy it. That's the goal. So let's start with rung 1, the warm-up.
Yes, the most common warm-up question in English is, how are you? But there are many versions. In British English, people often say, you all right? Or, how's it going? In American English, how are you doing is very common.
And here is the important thing. When someone says, "How are you?" they're not asking for a medical report. They don't want your full health history. It's a social opener.
Exactly. If you say, well, I woke up with a strange pain in my shoulder and I didn't sleep well, and my breakfast was too cold, the other person may feel a little lost.
Unless you're talking to your doctor or your very close friend. But in a normal conversation, a short answer with a tiny detail is perfect.
Let's give some natural answers. You can say, good, thanks. You? Or not too bad. Or can't complain. Or pretty good, thanks. How about you?
Pretty good is useful. And that phrase pretty doesn't mean beautiful. It means fairly or quite. So pretty good means fairly good. Not amazing, but positive.
And you can extend it. Pretty tired means quite tired. Pretty sure means quite sure. It's a softener. It makes your answer less extreme.
A short answer is fine, but a small detail can keep the conversation alive. For example, good, thanks. Busy morning, but I'm okay. Or I'm a bit tired, but happy to be here.
That small detail is powerful. If you say, I'm a bit tired, the other person can say, oh no, why? Late night? And now you have a conversation.
So everyone, let's practice. Pause for a moment and answer this question out loud. How are you today? But don't use the textbook answer. Give a real answer with one small detail.
Say it out loud, even if you are alone. You can say, I'm pretty good, thanks. I've had a calm morning. Or, I'm a little tired, but I'm happy to be practicing English.
Good, and after you answer, remember to ask the other person back. You can say, how about you? Or, what about you? Or in British English, you all right?
Yes, a conversation is a two-way street. If you only answer and never ask anything, the conversation stops. The other person has to start again.
The question, how are you, is easy, but the skill is not just answering. The skill is answering and returning the question. That is Rung 1.
Now let's move to Rung 2, identity questions. These are questions like, what do you do and where are you from?
What do you do almost always means, what is your job, or what do you do for work? It is not asking what you are doing right now.
That's an important distinction. If someone asks, what are you doing, they want to know about this moment. But what do you do means your general work or study.
So if you are a student, you can say, I'm a student. I'm studying business. If you work, you can say, I'm an engineer, or I work in marketing, or I work as a nurse.
Notice the grammar. I'm a nurse. I work as a nurse. I work in healthcare. These use simple present because they describe your general situation.
Don't say I am engineer without an "an." You need the article. I'm an engineer. I'm a teacher. I'm a photographer. And don't say I am doing engineer. That is not correct.
Exactly. Some learners say, I am working as a teacher when they mean their regular job. You can say that if it's temporary or you want to emphasize the current period, but usually I'm a teacher is cleaner.
Let's use our own lives. Amelia, what do you do?
I'm a literary translator and editor. I work with independent publishers, mostly on fiction and essays. It means I read for a living, which still feels like a very lucky job.
That's a perfect answer. You said what you do, and you added a tiny comment about how you feel about it. That gives me something to respond to.
I could also add, I'm a translator, but I'm originally trained as an editor. The word but can connect two parts of your identity.
What if someone doesn't work right now? What if they're between jobs or taking care of family?
You can say, I'm between jobs right now, but I'm looking for something in design. Or, I'm a stay-at-home parent at the moment. I take care of my 2 kids. Those are complete and natural answers.
And if your job is hard to explain, you can keep it simple. I work in IT. I work for a small company. I do freelance work. You don't need to give a full company description in the first 30 seconds.
The goal is to open the door, not to give a formal presentation. Now, the second big identity question is, where are you from?
This one seems simple, but many learners answer with just a country and then stop. That's not wrong, but it can feel like a closed door.
Let's show a better way. Ryan, where are you from?
I'm from the United States, originally from Chicago, but I've been living in London for about 6 years now.
That is a strong answer. You gave the country, the city, and your current situation. Now I can ask, oh, what's Chicago like? Or why did you move to London?
Exactly. If I only said America, the conversation would stop. But now I gave you 2 or 3 possible directions.
You can use the phrase, I'm originally from, to separate where you were born from where you live now. For example, I'm originally from Mexico, but I've been in Canada for 2 years.
That phrase is very useful for people who have moved. I was born in Egypt, but I grew up in Germany. Or I'm originally from a small town in Brazil, but now I live in Lisbon.
If you come from a place the other person may not know, add a little information. I'm from a small city in the north of Japan. It's near the coast. Now the other person can ask about it.
Let's practice. Pause and say your own answer. Where are you from? Try to include your country, your city or region, and maybe one extra detail.
Say it out loud. For example, I'm from Valencia on the east coast of Spain, but I've been living in Manchester for 2 years. That is a door, not a wall.
Good. Now, rung 3. Interest questions. These are questions about hobbies and experiences.
The most common ones are, what do you like to do in your free time? Or what are your hobbies? These are open questions. They let you show your personality.
When you answer, avoid just one word. Don't say reading. Say, I love reading, mostly novels. I'm really into contemporary fiction at the moment.
Notice the phrases I love, I enjoy, and I'm really into. They all make your answer sound warmer and more natural than my hobby is reading.
You can also use I'm a big fan of, or I'm not very sporty but I like walking. This shows contrast and makes you sound real.
Let's use our examples. Ryan, what do you like to do in your free time?
I love photography, which is also my job, so that helps. I'm also into hiking. I try to get outside on weekends. And I'm a big fan of trying new food. I'll travel across London for a good bowl of pasta.
That's a rich answer. You gave 3 interests and you added a small detail about each one. That gives the listener several things to ask about.
What about you, Amelia?
I love reading, as you'd expect. I also enjoy cooking, especially Italian food. And I'm trying to get better at yoga, though I'm still not very flexible.
That's great. You used trying to get better at, which is very natural when you're learning a new skill. You can say that about English, too.
Exactly. I'm trying to get better at speaking English. I'm trying to get better at listening. It shows effort and honesty.
Now, the second type of interest question is, have you ever? This uses the present perfect and it asks about life experience.
Have you ever been to Paris means at any time in your life did you go to Paris? It doesn't matter when, it only matters if it happened.
The basic answers are yes, I have, or no, I haven't, but you shouldn't stop there. Added detail.
If you say yes, tell when or where or how it felt. For example, yes, I have. I went to Paris about 5 years ago. It was beautiful, but very crowded.
If you say no, you can keep the conversation alive by adding, but I'd love to, or but I've always wanted to. That turns a negative answer into a positive invitation.
Let's practice. Ryan, have you ever been to Australia? Your mother-in-law would probably be upset if you said no.
Ha, yes, I have. I went to Australia with Amelia about 3 years ago. We visited her family and I saw the ocean for the first time in a very different way. It was unforgettable.
That is a natural answer. You said yes, you gave a time, and you added an emotional detail. Now I can ask, what was the best part?
And if I hadn't been, I could say, no, I haven't, but I'd really love to go. I've heard the beaches are incredible. That also keeps the conversation moving.
Good. Let's move to Rung 4, connection questions. These are questions about your recent past, your future, and your learning journey.
The first one is very common on Mondays. How was your weekend? Or what did you do last weekend? These use the past simple because the weekend is finished.
You can organize your answer by day. On Saturday, I stayed home and relaxed. On Sunday, I met a friend for coffee. That's clear and easy to follow.
Or you can organize by time of day. On Saturday morning, I went to the gym. In the afternoon, I did some shopping. In the evening, I watched a movie.
If you didn't do anything special, that's fine. You can say, I had a quiet weekend. I mostly stayed home and rested. I read a little and did some chores.
I had a quiet weekend is a very useful phrase. It's honest and it tells the other person you didn't have big news.
What did you do last weekend, Ryan?
I had a pretty active weekend. On Saturday, I went to a food market with a friend. We bought too much cheese and then cooked dinner together. On Sunday, I went for a long walk along the river.
That is a natural answer. You used past verbs, went, bought, cooked, and you gave a little story, not just a list.
Next, future questions. People often ask, what are you doing this weekend? Or any plans for the summer? These are about arrangements and intentions.
For future plans, you can use going to for intentions. I'm going to visit my parents on Saturday, or I'm going to try a new recipe on Sunday.
You can also use the present continuous for fixed arrangements, especially with a time and place. I'm meeting a friend for coffee at 3. We're having dinner with Amelia's sister on Friday.
That sounds very natural. If you're not sure yet, you can say, I'm thinking about going to the beach, but I haven't decided, or I might stay home and relax.
I might is useful for uncertain plans. It's softer than I will. So if someone says, "What are you doing this weekend?" and you don't know, say, "I might see some friends, but nothing's planned yet."
Now, one more connection question. How long have you been learning English? This is very common when you meet other learners.
This question uses the present perfect continuous. The structure is I have been learning or I've been studying plus for or since.
Use for with a period of time. I've been learning English for 3 years. Use since with a starting point. I've been learning English since 2021.
I always need to remember that. For 3 years, since 2021. Never since 3 years. That is a very common mistake.
It is, and in natural conversation, we almost always use the short form, I've been, instead of I have been. The full form sounds a little too formal.
Let me practice with you. Amelia, how long have you been learning English?
I've been speaking English since I was a child, so I don't think I can count the years, but I've been working as a translator for about 8 years.
That's a great answer. You separated speaking from working. You can do that too. I've been learning English for 4 years, but I've been practicing seriously for about 1 year.
It's also nice to add a feeling about your learning. I've been learning English for 5 years, and honestly, I love it. Or, it's been challenging, but I can see my progress.
I can see my progress is a very encouraging phrase. If you're at B1, B2, you might feel stuck sometimes, but you are still moving forward.
Now, everyone, pause and answer this question out loud. How long have you been learning English? Use for or since correctly.
Say it with your voice. I've been learning English for 6 years, or I've been studying English since 2020. Then add one small feeling about it.
Good. Now we've reached Rung 5, repair questions. These are the questions you ask when something goes wrong.
This is one of the most important skills in English because even advanced learners miss things. Maybe the speaker is too fast, or there's background noise, or you simply don't know a word.
It happens to everyone. The problem is that many learners freeze and pretend they understood, then the conversation becomes confusing and stressful.
The solution is simple. Ask, but ask politely and naturally. Let's learn the phrases.
First, sorry, could you repeat that? Or, sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
I didn't catch that doesn't mean you tried to catch a ball. It means you didn't hear or understand something clearly.
If the person is speaking too fast, you can say, could you speak a little more slowly, please? Most people are happy to slow down.
If you hear a word you don't know, you can say, "Sorry, what does that word mean?" Or, "What does ubiquitous mean?"
If you understood the words but not the meaning, say, I'm not sure I follow. Could you explain that differently? Or can you say that another way?
I'm not sure I follow is very natural. It means I'm not sure I understand your logic or your explanation.
The word could is more polite than can in these requests. Could you repeat that? Sounds softer than can you repeat that?
And always start with sorry or excuse me. It shows respect. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, could you say that again?
Let's practice. Ryan, I'll say something quickly and unclearly, and you ask for clarification.
Okay, I'll try.
The implementation of the new scheduling protocol was postponed because the regional coordinator encountered an unforeseen logistical complication.
Sorry, I didn't catch all of that. Could you say it more slowly, please?
Sure. The meeting was moved to a different day because the person in charge had an unexpected problem with the schedule.
Oh, I understand now. That was much clearer, and all I had to do was ask.
Exactly. You didn't panic, you didn't pretend, you asked a simple, polite question, and the problem disappeared.
That is Rung 5. Repair questions keep you in control. You are not lost, you are managing the conversation.
Beautifully said. So now we've covered all 5 rungs, but knowing them separately is not the same as using them together.
Right. We need a full practice conversation, something that sounds real. Let's build one.
Good idea. But before we do, let's review the 5 rungs quickly so they stay in your head.
Rung 1, warm-up questions. How are you? Answer naturally and ask back.
Rung 2, identity questions. What do you do and where are you from? Answer with your job or studies and your place with the detail.
Rung 3, interest questions. What do you like to do and have you ever? Answer with your hobbies and your experiences.
Rung 4, connection questions. What did you do last weekend? What are your plans? And how long have you been learning English? Answer with stories and time expressions.
Rung 5, repair questions. Ask for a repetition, slower speech, or a different explanation when you need it.
Now let's put these together. Ryan, let's pretend we just met at a travel meetup in London. We'll have a natural conversation, and I want everyone to listen for the rungs.
Great. I'll try not to say I do photographs this time.
Let's begin.
Hi, I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Ryan. I'm Amelia. Nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. A bit tired because I was out late last night, but I'm happy to be here. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I've had a busy day, but I'm looking forward to this. So, what do you do?
I'm a photographer. I do freelance work, mostly for small brands and online magazines. What about you?
I'm a literary translator and editor. I work with independent publishers. It's quiet work, but I love it.
That sounds fascinating. Where are you from, Amelia?
I'm from London originally, but my mother is Australian, so I grew up with a bit of both. I've lived here most of my life, though. What about you?
I'm from the United States, originally from Chicago, but I've been living in London for about 6 years now.
Oh, I love Chicago. I've never been, but I've always wanted to go. What do you like to do in your free time?
I'm really into hiking. I try to get outside on weekends. I also love photography, obviously, and I'm a big fan of trying new food. What about you?
I love reading, mostly fiction. I also enjoy cooking, especially Italian food, and I'm trying to get better at yoga, though I'm still not very flexible.
I'm the same with yoga. I can touch my knees, and that's about it. Anyway, what did you do last weekend?
I had a pretty quiet weekend. On Saturday, I went to a bookshop and then cooked a big pasta dish. On Sunday, I went for a walk in the park. What about you?
I had a nice weekend. I went to a food market with a friend, and then on Sunday, I went hiking. It was exactly what I needed.
That sounds lovely. Any plans for this weekend?
I'm thinking about going to the coast, but I haven't decided yet. I might just stay in London and relax. How about you?
I'm meeting a friend for coffee on Saturday, and on Sunday, I'm going to try a new recipe. Nothing too big.
That sounds perfect. Can I ask, how long have you been learning languages? You mentioned your mother is Australian, so I'm curious.
I've been speaking English since I was a child, but I've also been learning Italian for about 4 years. I'm still not fluent, but I can manage a conversation.
That's impressive. I've been trying to learn French for years, but I think my accent needs a lot of work.
The accent is always the hardest part, but you just have to keep speaking, which brings me to a question for our listeners.
Yes, let's pause the conversation for a moment. We want you to notice something. That entire conversation used the 5 rungs naturally.
We didn't stop and say, now I am asking a warm-up question. It just flowed.
That is how real English works. The questions are connected. One answer leads to the next question. The conversation moves forward because both people keep adding small pieces of information.
And notice that we didn't use any strange or formal grammar. It was all B1-B2 level. Short sentences, natural phrases, a few details. That is enough.
It really is enough. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present.
So let's do a quick language review. We'll pick out some useful phrases from today so you can add them to your active vocabulary.
Good idea. First, from rung 1, pretty good. Ryan, what does it mean? Pretty good means fairly good or quite good. Not amazing, but positive. You can use pretty with many adjectives. Pretty tired, pretty sure, pretty busy.
Next phrase, can't complain. What does that mean?
It means things are okay. If someone says, how are you? And you say, can't complain, you are saying there is nothing bad enough to complain about. It's relaxed and natural.
Next phrase from rung 2, I'm originally from... What does that mean?
It means the place where you were born or grew up, even if you don't live there now. I'm originally from Chicago, but I live in London now.
And the phrase, I work as... Ryan, can you explain?
I work as a photographer. I work as a nurse. It's a natural way to say your job title. The article is important. A before consonant sounds, and before vowel sounds.
From rung 3, I'm really into... What does that mean?
It means you like something a lot. I'm really into hiking. I'm really into Korean dramas. It's casual and strong.
And have you ever... What tense is that?
It's present perfect. It asks about life experience. The answer is yes, I have, or no, I haven't, plus extra information.
From rung 4, I had a quiet weekend. What does that mean?
It means you didn't do anything very exciting. You rested, stayed home, maybe watched something. It's a very useful phrase for Monday conversations.
And I might stay home. What does might tell us?
Might means it's possible but not certain. It's softer than will. If you say, I might stay home, you're saying that's one option.
From Rung 5, I didn't catch that. What does that mean?
It means I didn't hear or understand that clearly. You can use it when you miss something. It's polite and very common.
And could you explain that differently? When would you use this?
When you understand the words but not the meaning, maybe the sentence was too complicated. You ask the speaker to say it another way.
Good. Now let's do a little active practice together. I'll ask you a question and you answer out loud. Ready?
This is where you, the listener, do the work. Don't just listen. Pause and speak.
Question 1. How are you today?
Give a real answer, not, I am fine, thank you. Say something like, I'm pretty good, thanks. I've had a busy day.
Question 2. What do you do?
If you're a student, say, I'm a student. I study engineering. If you work, say, I work as a nurse. If you're between jobs, say, I'm between jobs right now.
Question 3. Where are you from?
Try to include your city and one small detail. I'm from Medellin in Colombia. It's a city in the mountains.
Question 4. What do you like to do in your free time?
Use I love, I enjoy, or I'm really into. Give 1 or 2 hobbies with a small detail.
Question 5. Have you ever traveled to a country where you didn't speak the language?
Answer with yes, I have, or no, I haven't, and then add 1 sentence.
Question 6. What did you do last weekend?
Use past simple. You can organize by day. On Saturday, I relaxed. On Sunday, I met a friend.
Question 7. What are your plans for the weekend?
Use going to, present continuous, or might. I'm going to visit my parents. I might see a movie.
Question 8. How long have you been learning English?
Use I've been learning plus for or since. I've been learning English for 5 years.
Question 9. Say a polite repair phrase if you didn't understand me.
You could say, sorry, could you repeat that? Or, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
Excellent. That was a full workout. If you answered all of those, you just practiced every rung of the ladder.
And if you made mistakes, that's okay. Mistakes are not failure, they're feedback. They show you where to practice next.
That's a very healthy way to think. Now let's talk about a few common mistakes at B1-B2 level, because these can make a good answer sound a little unnatural.
Mistake 1. Using since with a period of time. Don't say, I've been learning English since 3 years. Say, I've been learning English for 3 years.
Mistake 2. Answering what do you do with I am doing. Don't say I am doing teacher. Say I'm a teacher or I work as a teacher.
Mistake 3. Saying I am agree. In English, agree is a verb, not an adjective. Say I agree or I don't agree.
Mistake 4. Answering where are you from with only I am from and then stopping. It's not wrong, but it closes the door. Add a city or a detail.
Mistake 5. Saying I have ever been instead of I have been when talking about experience. Have you ever been to Spain? Yes, I have been to Spain. Not yes, I have ever been to Spain.
Mistake 6, using explain me instead of explain to me. Don't say, can you explain me this word? Say, can you explain this word to me?
Those small corrections make a big difference. They help you sound more natural and more confident.
Now let's return to the conversation ladder one more time. The reason it works is that it follows how humans build trust. We start small, we share a bit, and then we go deeper.
And if you can recognize which rung a question belongs to, you can prepare your mind. You don't need to panic. You just think, this is a connection question. I need a time expression.
That's a useful strategy. When someone asks, what did you do last weekend? You know it's past simple. When someone asks, how long have you been learning English? You know it's present perfect continuous with for or since.
You don't need to remember every grammar rule in the moment. You just need a pattern. That pattern gives you confidence.
And confidence changes everything. When you're confident, you listen better. When you listen better, you answer more naturally. When you answer naturally, the conversation flows.
That's the real goal. Not perfect English, flowing English.
Now, if you want to continue practicing, we have a small homework challenge for you.
We want you to choose one question from today and write your answer in the comments. Just one question. It can be, how are you, or what do you do, or where are you from?
Write your answer in English. It doesn't need to be long. 3 or 4 sentences is perfect. For example, I'm from Japan, originally from Osaka. I've been learning English for 2 years. I love listening to music.
That is a complete comment.
It uses identity, learning time, and interest. It gives us a picture of you.
And we really do read the comments. It helps us know what you need next. It also gives you a chance to produce English, not just consume it.
If you're shy, you can write a shorter answer. Just one sentence is fine. The important thing is to try.
Now, before we finish, we should mention the next episode because we already promised it in episode 57.
Yes, next time we are going to talk about how to speak English fluently step by step. It will be designed for beginners, but even if you're B1 or B2, you may find a useful idea there.
The title will be How to Speak English Fluently, Step by Step, Easy English for Beginners. If you have a friend who is just starting, that episode will be perfect for them.
So share it with them when it comes out. And if you're listening now and you feel like a beginner, don't worry. We'll keep the language clear and friendly.
Exactly. Learning English is not a race. You can move from A1 to B1, then B1 to B2, one episode at a time.
And that brings us back to today. You've just learned a complete system for answering the most common English questions. That is a real skill.
Let's do a final review very quickly. Rung 1, how are you?
Rung 2, what do you do? Where are you from?
Rung 3, what do you like to do? Have you ever?
Rung 4, what did you do last weekend? What are your plans? How long have you been learning English?
Rung 5, sorry, could you repeat that? What does that mean? Could you explain that differently?
If you remember those 5 rungs, you can walk into any first conversation and feel more prepared.
And the beautiful thing is that these questions are not tests, they're invitations. People ask because they want to know you.
So when someone says, "What do you do?" they're not judging you. They're opening a door. Your job is to walk through it.
That is a lovely way to end, but we have one more thing.
Yes, if you found this episode helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to Romantic English Academy. It helps the channel reach more learners.
And if you know someone who is nervous about speaking English, share this episode with them. It might help them feel less alone.
Also, tell us in the comments, which question do you still feel nervous about? We'll try to help.
Now, Ryan, before we go, do you have any final advice?
Just this, you don't need to memorize a perfect answer. You need to practice answering until it feels like you. That's when English becomes yours.
That's exactly right, and we'll be here to help you with that.
Falling in love with English, one word at a time.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Take care.
Let the language of connection bloom and fill your world with a softer hue. Romantic English Academy. Your elegant journey starts with you. Find your voice in every phrase. Unlock a world of brighter days. Romantic English Academy. Start your new story today.